What's up, y'all? It's your boy Evan. And first off, I want to say I hope everybody is staying healthy and staying safe during this really tough time. Also, shout out as always to my new subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. Just a reminder, I do want to let everybody know that once we pass 400 subscribers, I am going to be doing another giveaway. So it is April 1st, 2020, and no April Fools here. I think we've been given enough of that for the year, but maybe that's just me. But before I hop into the review, I do want to give some quick updates about what's been going on since I last saw y'all. So yesterday, Governor Sisolak issued a travel advisory for the state of Nevada, basically saying that if you're coming into the state, to quarantine yourself for 14 days. Also, if you live here, they are advising that you only travel for essential purposes. So basically, don't leave the state if possible. And if you are coming in, once again, to please quarantine yourself. Now, as of right now, it's not any sort of law, and there are no penalties for that. Depending on whether or not people adhere to the advisory, we may or may not see that. So hopefully, it doesn't get to that point. You know, I kind of got into all that stuff on my last video. So in my last video, I showed y'all how basically the grocery stores looked here in Las Vegas, at least the ones that I went to. The good news is that things have kind of settled down a little bit. There are no more restrictions on water. Basically, there was not really a restriction on meat, kind of just advising people to just be mindful. Unfortunately, paper products, a lot of cleaning products are still sold out. I hear if you go early, that's probably the best time to find those type of items. So if you are looking for those type of things, hopefully you find them then. So on another good note, Wynn, Aria, Venetian, as well as Park MGM have all started displaying kind of nice, good, hopeful signs across their building. So thank you to my friend Nicole for taking a photo of the Wynn and Encore displaying that heart as well as the Vegas Strong. So talking about Las Vegas, let's get to that review of the Neon Museum here in Las Vegas. And I do want to apologize before I start my review because just as the last photo was a photo, not a video like I usually like doing, there's going to be a lot of that in this video. I'll explain why in just a few minutes, but let's get to that review. So I've been wanting to check out the Neon Museum since basically I moved here and heard about it. And whenever I heard that there was going to be a Tim Burton exhibit part of it, I was really excited. The exhibit was originally supposed to end on February 15th of this year, but it did get extended until mid-April. Now, once again, because of the coronavirus, I don't know if they're going to extend it once again or if that's going to be basically it. So if you did already purchase tickets to this exhibit and you weren't able to attend because your trip got canceled or, you know, it's just closed, they are offering refunds. If you go to their website, there's an email address there. I'll actually put their web address in the description so you can find that information there. So the Neon Museum is basically separated into two parts. On one side you have the general admission boneyard. That's about $30 during the Tim Burton exhibit, and then $20, $25 if there's nothing going on. And then on the other side you have the Brilliant Show, which is about $24. So I know in the past they've done special deals where you can get entrance to both the Neon Museum as well as the Mob Museum for kind of a lower price. So that's something to kind of think about. So the Neon Museum does also offer tours as well as special event tours. Now those do cost extra and the special event tours do kind of vary in price. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. The Neon Museum does also offer photo walks for $50. And if you are a resident of Nevada or you're a student or active military veteran or a senior, they do lower that cost to $35. So those are some options to kind of keep in mind as well. So you know how I said that this video was basically going to be a lot of photos? Well, the reason for that is because there are guidelines that they ask people to follow. So the first is no cameras. So any sort of bags, cameras, anything like that, they ask you to check them in at the front desk. You're allowed to take your cell phone in, but they do ask everybody to not video or do any sort of audio recording. There's different reasons for that, and I'll get into that in just a second. So now for my review. First off, I gotta say I'm really glad that I got to check out the Las Vegas Tim Burton exhibit. I've been a big fan of Tim Burton for years now, so checking out his art and his doodles and kind of how he came up with different ideas and his version of Las Vegas growing up, that was really cool. That was really awesome. And the pieces were interesting, definitely Tim Burton. If you know his style, you kind of have an idea. But throughout the Boneyard, the pieces were kind of sporadic and there weren't really a lot. Now, whenever you walk in, you did see, you got a little bit more of like doodles and things like that, which was nice and kind of give you an idea of, kind of where some of these ideas came from. But the actual larger installations, there weren't a lot of them. Now, one of the other things that I really wasn't a fan of was that basically whenever you're walking through the Boneyard, there's no context or information about any of the signs. You're just kind of walking through and you're kind of just walking through a junkyard. I mean, it's a cool junkyard because, obviously some of the signs are lit up. And, if you know maybe a little bit of the Las Vegas history, you've maybe seen it in a movie or something like that. That's awesome. But I really wish there would have been like a QR code or something like you can scan to get a little bit more information. Once again, they do offer tours, but I really didn't want to pay even more on top of what I was already doing there. So you're basically just kind of wandering around through some working and some non-working signs. And then on top of that, you have these Tim Burton pieces that are just kind of there. So there is some stuff from like Beetlejuice, and you'll kind of recognize things or things that look familiar, but without context, it gets a little kind of confusing as to what you're actually looking at, other than just like, here's stuff. So I'm glad I went during the Las Vegas exhibit, because basically without that, you walk through the Boneyard and it takes about 20 minutes. You're literally looking at some functional and non-functional signs. Now, talking about the other part, the brilliant part. Yes, I did go to that, and I have to say, it lives up to its name. It was, in fact, brilliant. So on the brilliant side, basically they took a bunch of old signs that are no longer functional, and because of projection mapping, they bring those signs back to life. So basically it's a 30-minute musical tour where the signs are basically giving you a musical history of Las Vegas. It's totally 360, so you're kind of like looking around and stuff is happening here, there, all over the place, which was really, really cool. I really liked it. So if you are going to be going to the Neon Museum, I would recommend going whenever there's like a special exhibit like Las Vegas. But even if it's like a normal day, I would suggest going to Brilliant. I would highly recommend that part. So the Brilliant show is about 30 minutes, and because it was a special Tim Burton thing, there was a special Tim Burton ending, which was really cool. I don't want to spoil it in case it is still going, but there are some photos and videos on their Instagram. So as for the main Boneyard, if it hadn't been for the Tim Burton part of it, I wouldn't have felt that I would have really gotten my money's worth, which was really kind of a big disappointment because, as I mentioned, this is something that I have been wanting to check out since I moved here. So it's been a while since I've wanted to check that out. I really wish that there would have been more context and more information about the signs and the history of the signs, because rather than 20 minutes, and maybe on the tours they do give you more of that. So yeah, but once again, paying extra for that, I really didn't feel like doing that. Especially for something that's supposed to be a museum, walking through 20 minutes, that's kind of quick for a museum. I don't know. That's just me, once again. So I will say that if you can find some sort of like special deal or like cheaper tickets, then yeah, I would say check it out. But if you're paying full price, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Boneyard part. Now, Brilliant, awesome. I will recommend that. But once again, the Boneyard itself, I didn't find it worth it, but the signs were interesting and cool to look at. So even though they're closed right now, you can actually take a virtual tour if you go to neonmuseum.app and put in the password neon. So after I went on the virtual tour, I actually found it really helpful because you do get a little bit more information, a little bit more history. Not a lot because it is kind of quick facts, but it's a quick little tour of where the sign came from or what casino it was a part of, those type of things. So if you do plan to check out the Neon Museum, I do suggest checking out the virtual tour first, so you do have a little bit of information kind of going into it and it's not just stuff. Now, I don't remember this app being featured whenever I went to visit, but I really wish I had seen it, or if it wasn't there, I really wish that it would have been. So just on a real quick little note, I know I've mentioned the Mob Museum a couple times in this review. they too have an app that you can find on the Google Play Store or the App Store. Now, it's not going to be a virtual tour, but it does kind of give you a breakdown of where you can find different exhibit pieces. And if you do want a walkthrough of the Mob Museum, I went and visited there, so you can always check that out here on this channel. And if you did want to see more videos and photos of the Neon Museum, I did leave links to the app as well as their website and their Instagram, once again, down in the description below. So thanks for watching my review of the Neon Museum. If you've been to the Neon Museum before, comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think that it was a ripoff? Or did you think, hey, I'm totally wrong and it's the best money you ever spent? I want to know. Also, as always, if you liked the video, thought it was helpful, like and subscribe. You can also do that down below. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see y'all next time on Mr. E's in Las Vegas. Peace.